Hello everyone, Arvind here. I am in the industry from 1986, so I've seen the entire growth of IT. And I thought I will contribute a few of my experiences, especially on today's scenario where security seems to be of topmost priority in most of the industries. What funny thing that I found out in most of the places is like I go and meet some of the IT guys, including the management. The question is, what is cybersecurity? It's almost like mocking, and the instant answer that we get is, I have a firewall, and that takes care of everything. And it's like such a naive answer that they give me. So, but that's the knowledge level that we are talking about. So the question is, if the firewall is enough to do everything, then why are you having antivirus software? Boom. It's as basic as this. People don't realize that firewall cannot stop you from somebody attacking your PC. Firewall does the job of a controlling of the traffic or certain signatures. That's it. That's the end of it. It does not go anything beyond that. But the thin line has been almost like so confusing with this UTMs and other equipment that has come up that people talk about uh, firewall, they talk about antivirus, they talk about content control, they talk about so many things in one box. Literally taking the end user into a different world where they don't seem to be understanding. Most of the people they end up with that. So, and in what the current experience is the number of companies where cyber attack has happened and keeps on happening, and they don't seem to be realizing the problem and the losses they are incurring due to that. Okay, cyber security is a very comprehensive area. So when you don't follow them, what happens is the external world of yours is affected, the internal world of yours is affected, and the most important, the financial world of yours is also affected very badly. It's too late by the time you realize, and there are many companies which are literally closed down due to ransomware attacks and other kind of phishings that has happened. Okay, so when you talk about cybersecurity, okay, the stakeholders map, when I'm putting it that, okay, so I'm saying the administration people, the faculties, if there is a college or the students, the staff, associate, business partners, everybody, including the stocks that you keep, the libraries that you have, everything seems to be included in the cyber attack. So if you notice the first top one asset inside threat at the topmost. What I found out of my own experience is that these people, okay, this inside threat that we are talking about, these are people's human beings that are there within the organization, and they are the first threat and the most volatile of the whole lot. At one point of time, they lack education on the cyber etiquette. Second thing is they have ego to accept that they have a problem. And third one is there is a funding issue. Always there is a funding issue. And the fourth one is, and people try to escape the situation knowingly there is a problem. Okay, so these are certain things that people do. Okay, malwares. They don't care about logging into a different site and downloading a malware. Okay, and they struggle. Denial of services, which is like they put in somebody puts a code into your thing and they start pumping out information so much to your services that they stop responding. Okay, they overload that, and they will take 10 15 systems in your office and they will pump the data out, and you will not get the service that is needed. Phishing, which is a very common way of getting these malwares and denial of services codes inside your system. Basically, they will send you a mail with the ID, and you will believe that it is my own somebody known ID because the name matches, and somebody will go and click it, and that guy will be the reason for spreading this phishing data into almost all the areas. Okay, this DNS tunneling is another one which not many people really realize what it does. It basically what they do is they pick up data, small data, and they use the DNS query to send the data out. And they keep on changing the IP address. There are so many addresses, IP addresses, where this data will be sent to. So from your firewall perspective, it looks as if the data is legitimate because it is going to different IP, not to one IP. And once it reaches to a certain IP, and from there all this data is collected and assembled, and the whole data is generated. This is an excellent way of sending the data without anybody knowing what the data is going through, because it goes into small bits it goes into DNS query. We can't live without DNS query, because if we don't have DNS query, we cannot browse. Okay, because nobody is going to remember the number of IPs you need. So you need something like DNS query, which is easy for human reading. They use the same thing to do it. Okay, this cross-site scripting. This is basically a coding error, because they don't care about the coding, and that's how this case will go. They'll give you a login, and from there they will pick up all the information. This could be easily avoided, but many people don't look into that. Man in the middle attack, that is somebody is sniffing through your network, and they try to pick up the information, and from there they try to use it against you. Drive-by attack, so that's another way of model. Password attacks, we know what it is. SQL injection attacks, because injections we can send, SQL injection can be sent through website, which can be directly injected into the website, and it can be used. So that is another way. Eavesdropping is like listening to your network and other things, and then cryptojacking is giving you some information and picking up all the encrypted messages and then making use of that. So what's basically what basically I'm trying to tell you is that the complete uh, security depends on number of things. Not only these applications that you are running, the people you are using it, the external company people who are working, the network that you are using, even the firewall that you are trying to use. There are so many equipment, so many people, so many possibilities that you can lose control of your business. Okay, and this has been repeatedly happening again and again and again. There are a number of cases that you can watch in the Google. You go into the news, you will find every day some or the other company. But recently we saw so many companies, okay, being attacked. I think we saw SpiceJet, we saw banks, we saw so many airlines, insurance companies. In the recent days, we saw our other data getting leaked. Like rampant kind of attacks people are. If you look at it, it's basically because somewhere we are not careful. We don't treat this threat as the way we should treat it, because we don't see the blood flowing here. It's a war. Blood does not flow here. Just that they suck you out, everything out of all your resources, and they leave you just like that, and you are like a vegetable there. So that's the kind of thing that these people are doing. So there are some solutions that are available for this. So the solutions are basically it has to be proactive. There is nothing called as you have the answer. You can once somebody breaks in and encrypt it. The only way you get the option is to pay him and get the decoding code and then do it. And there are many cases where the decoding code does not work after you paid it. So that's another challenge that you have. So you have to be proactive. So one of the ways to do is you have to do a VAPT, While you implement CyberSOC, you have to do a threat intelligence, SCADA security, then endpoint security you have to implement, or data recovery backup solution. This is the utmost important thing. Many people don't care about backups and nothing. The utmost important thing where data, once it is backed up and kept it in a place, and that data could help you to recover the system back. Okay, there are a number of companies where in the recent way you have seen data backups were lost because though even those were encrypted by the hacker whoever joined in. So it becomes very challenging for people to work at such an environment. So you should look at all this kind of, at least this five kind of solutions to resolve your problems. So VAPT, when I say this is how do you the threat, how do you mitigate it? So to mitigate it, you use VAPT, a vulnerability assessment and penetration. This is a comprehensive tool that's available from open source, that's available from the industry. So you just have to take this away or ask the third person to come and run the vulnerability test. There are set of rules that you have to follow and then do that. And when you do that, you at least come to know a lot of gaps that needs to be addressed. You address all the gaps, and most likely you will be safe to a very great extent. Okay, then CyberSOC. CyberSOC is the centralized unit where all the details, anything, all the logs are collected. Sys logs are collected and they are analyzed. And there is artificial learning that happens there, machine language, artificial, and then it learns and then it knows when the pattern is not as usual. It gives you alert, and that's how you can go, and a lot of things are automated so that you don't have to monitor it 24/7. The moment it finds something else, it can actually isolate that particular application and keep it quiet so that it does not affect the whole operations. So that's a cyber SOC, which security operations, which very important for most of the organizations they should have. Threat intelligence is basically understanding what is the threat and how do you mitigate it. Should I put it away? Should I delete it? So what is the kind of thing? So this intelligence will tell you that there's something abnormal is happening in your system. The SCADA security, protecting supervisor control and data acquisition. So this is very crucial in many of the manufacturing industries where if that base data itself is disturbed, then you know what's going to happen. Your manufacturing is going to come to a standstill and you're going to see a lot of losses there. Endpoint detection. This is something that we all talk about, endpoint detection platform. So there it is like it's there on the last system that is there, and we install it in that, and that keeps detecting if there is any problem there, something like you want to block the USB drive, or if there is something that is wrong, then you can block that particular PC and keeps on monitoring the endpoint devices. Basically, as I said, a USB drive or something, you put it. Especially, it becomes a headache when you try to bring in the Internet of Things. Everything has got a gap. So you need to have such kind of endpoint detections and response, no, where you can control those devices from doing any malicious attack on your entire business. I won't even say it is locked. I'm not bothered about looking at one system because ultimately your business gets affected. That's how you have to see that. Easiest data recovery and backup. So this is ultimate thing because what happens is what I have seen is backups are taken and many times they are kept onto storages like file storage. They're not even backed up on the tape. Okay, and or USB drives, and becomes so easy for anybody who has got access to encrypt the entire all the files. So if you can avoid that, take backup on the tape and keep it outside the system or physically under something, so that even if there is an attack, these tapes don't get infected, and you have something backup for a couple of weeks, so that you can restore it and then you can use it. So this happens to be one of the safest method to keep it on the tape. But given the huge volume of data that we have, it has become increasingly difficult to take backups into tapes. And so that's why a lot of people try to look at file storage and other things, NAS and other things to store the files, which is looks good, but when you have an attack, then you know what is the pain is. You will be left then and there, and you will be stuck with no backups to restore in case there is a attack. Okay, so this is what happens. So this is one scenario that we have seen. So overall, cybersecurity means a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. Coming IoT is a lot of issues, and knowledge level is not that high. They are not worried about it. Ultimately, the business suffers. If the business suffers, all the people in the organization also will suffer, and this will lead to even closure of the business. And the responsibility lies on the business itself, because the customer will not be happy. Imagine a bank does that, you will not go and invest into that bank. If you don't trust many things, okay, the moment you see there is a failure. So a lot of things come into question, that we should not invest, we should not do this, that is a risky bug, and the business gets into trouble. So the best thing to do is to follow at least these 6 measures that I have said, and try to bring it up and see how you can do that. If you have any questions or you want any ideas related to how it can be done, do write to me or leave a comment on this. I will try to help you out as much as possible. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye bye.